to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started tonight, there was a public notice that was put out regarding the 2025 budget adjustment and also a public hearing for the 2026 budget. And because of the newspaper's failure to put it in the newspaper, that agenda item is moved until the December 17th meeting. So item number 1 on our agenda is approval of minutes from the November 19th commission meeting. Have any corrections or additions to that agenda?
I saw no corrections or additions.
Nor I. Make a motion that we approve the November 19th minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 2 is employee of the month. Kellie Payne.
Good afternoon, commissioners. We actually have 4 employees this month to recognize. They're all with our senior center, and they were nominated by their supervisor, Tammy Ellis, who is the mobile meals coordinator. So I'm going to invite her up, as well as Marlinda Tucker, Emily Prescott, Michelle Tanner, who couldn't be here today, and Amber Golding Decker.
Hello. Okay, so I nominated the Senior Center mobile meal drivers, Marlinda, Emily, Michelle, and Amber, for Employees of the Month. They are heroes to the homebound seniors in our community. Not only do they bring food to them, they also brighten their day with a smile and light conversation. They do a great job connecting for the few short minutes they spend with them. The Senior Center has been short-staffed a lot this year, and these employees have and continue to go above and beyond. They are a great example of teamwork. They will step in and help where help is needed in any department without being asked. As their supervisor, they make my job a lot easier.
Congratulations, all 3 of you. You do a very needed job in our community for the seniors. Item number 3 is ratification of the Outdoor Recreation Initiative grant contract. And this is an agreement that's already been signed, and it is for a grant that would allow the Rock Crawlers Club to have the NEPA work done on some of the trails that they currently would like to open up and use for public events. And so the grant is for $95,000. It's from the state of Utah to pay for that environmental work on those trails. So the county, this will be a great addition to the county. The Rock Crawlers have some real good activity in their club, and this will help them to be able to advertise and have events here on these trails. Any questions about it?
No, I have no questions. If there's no comments, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we ratify the Outdoor Recreation Incentive Grant contract.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item number 4 is open sealed bids for the wildland fire truck. Did we get anything?
Right, I believe we got 4.
Okay.
This is from Outback Fire Apparatus, Inc. Has some warranty information and specifications. It says the final out the door price is $204,995. Estimated completion time of 35 business days from notice to proceed.
Seth, was that 204?
Yeah, I'm sorry, 204,995.
Thank you.
This one is from Fire Trucks Unlimited. Their proposed total bid is $255,000. I assume there's some differences in trucks, but I know that you want to cover all of those right now.
Probably not.
This one is from Rebel Brush Trucks. Total price with doesn't include delivery of $240,000. This one is from Siddons Martin Emergency Group. There's a unit price of $164,047, and then there's some supplied equipment of $24,372 for a total of $188,419. Looks like they have a bid 1 and a bid 2 actually, so let me check this out. So the first one was for, just so the difference is known. The first one was for an E350 Dragger 300. The one the other, oh, I already read. And the second one is for a Skeeter Ford F450 Type 6 commercial. And this one, the total is $217,047.
Thank you. Maybe an explanation for everyone regarding what this is. The state of Utah allows for each county to enter into an agreement with them that if the county provides a certain amount of fuels mitigation, which would mean they go out into the forested areas or even along washes here in the valley, and remove vegetation that would feed a fire that could get out of control. If the county is willing to enter into an agreement and you know, in the case of Carbon County, we have to do, I think it's $293,000 worth of work, that if a fire does start in Carbon County, the state will pay for those costs that usually they're in the millions of dollars. And so this is a good insurance policy for us. And so we're able to either do mitigation work, removing some of the heavy fuels that could cause a fire to spread quickly, or purchase equipment that would help fight those types of fires. And so the choice that has been made by the team is to purchase one of these trucks that would help in that effort to fight a fire if it starts. I think next year they'll end up doing a lot more of the actual mitigation work. So this is an ongoing thing, so that's what this purchase would be for. The county either has to do in-kind work that amounts to that amount of money, the $293,000, or purchase equipment, or actually go out and physically do the work, or we can actually send a check to the state of Utah for $293,000, and we're going to keep it local. So, any questions about that?
No, I'll go ahead and make a motion then that we accept the 4 bids that have been come in and let Justin and the sheriff and Commissioner Haddock review and move forward with the best value for the county.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5 is ratification of Campbell Architect work order and agreement. This is for a project for the Children's Justice Center. Shelley Wright in our area here has asked that some simple plans be drawn up. You're here. Okay.
I am. You're doing great.
Keep going.
They're just drawn up to help do a little remodel over in the Castledale building that the Children's Justice Center owns. So anything to add, Shelley?
No, this is a long time coming. We have started to grow out of the Emery County Center. Right now, we hold our all of our meetings in the kitchen area. And so to make it a little bit more comfortable and efficient work, we're going to turn the garage into a conference room. So this is going to be a great project.
Okay, and it's a small amount of money. The agreement is not to exceed $5,000, I think. But they'll get us a drawing that can be used to get a building permit and also to hand out to contractors to bid the project.
Yes.
So, any questions? And this is an agreement that's already been signed, so we need to ratify it.
I'll make a motion that we ratify the Campbell Architecture work order and agreement.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Shelley.
Great.
Thanks
Thank
for all you
Commissioners.
do.
Thank you.
Item 6 is adjourn as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners and convene as the Carbon County Board of Equalization.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners and convene as the Carbon County Board of Equalization.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 7 is consideration and possible approval of assessor-initiated adjustments. Keven Ewell and Amy.
So we got several items to talk about today. I'm gonna let Amy go first, and the first section is some properties that were escaped, and I'll let her talk about that.
Okay.
So good evening. Just on your agenda, you have the 4 items that we're looking at. Each of them will need your consent or denial or approval on those, okay? So the first one is the request for escape property on the 2025 tax roll. It involves 3 different entities. We can go back 5 years on escape property. This means that we did not value them, and so they didn't get on the tax roll. And so the procedure with that is the code of 52-9 or 52-2-1002, or 59-2, sorry. And so what you would need to do as a board is just direct the assessor's office to add these to the tax roll, and then the clerk's office continues and sends them out the proper valuation notice.
Any questions for Amy?
Thank you for catching these and getting us caught up on these properties that were overlooked.
You bet.
I think too, these are some that in previous years, the state assessed these, centrally assessed,
Yes.
and then they shifted them our way, and there were some that,
They are, the first ones on the Emory Telecom are ones that were previously like centrally assessed. And so what they did was this year, they just didn't get the bill in the tax notice in on just those properties. And then the next one was Energy Transfer was in 2024. It was labeled as another one that looked like it was centrally assessed, and so it's a box we click or unclick that's responsible in these offices, and so it wasn't clicked on it. The other one, the last one on Mr. Dahl, is the name wasn't recorded correctly, so and it was purchased from the county, so the property was. So these are just ones that didn't get our value on it and didn't get a tax notice.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we provide the escape property on 2025 tax roll 52-2-1002.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you on that one.
Thank you.
There's one addition to the paperwork for the appeal, or the approval for the appeals. I was able to stipulate with Amazon on their building. And so that's hearing number 2025-741. And the stipulated amount is $1,966,789.
Say that number one more time.
$1,966,789.
Thank you.
I didn't want to reprint again, so.
Okay.
So the first section is the properties that we have either stipulated to or have had a verbal agreement with the homeowner, but they couldn't make it into sign the stipulation, so it's a recommendation. And that's the first front and back page of those. Any questions on any of those? I noticed the ones on the bottom of the first page, you've got the wrong commentary on there. I apologize, I didn't catch that until I was sitting here. I copied the wrong column, so I can get that information to you. Most of those were just lot adjustments, looking for different minimal values versus acreage versus buildable values. So but that's not what it says. So.
Any questions for Kevin on those?
Just to be clear, there's a couple of colored pages and a couple of black and white. These are all from the,
It's just the black and white.
The first page.
okay,
Black and white.
thank you.
There's no questions. Could we have a motion on accepting these assessor adjusted values?
So moved.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Kevin.
The second section is for graphite solar, and this is a personal property appeal. It's been under appeal since 2023, and rather than sticking our fingers in the middle of that, we recommend that we deny it, send it to the state so that we can have it heard for 23, 24, and 25.
I'll make a motion that we deny graphite solar
I'll second.
on appeal.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
The next section falls under it's the green label, and these are the ones that were late appeals that were for factual errors. And I would recommend that we accept them, but we can go through them each individually as we did last time. So the first one is for hearing 2025-883. And this one is actually increasing the value, but lowering the taxes. And let me explain that. So we had it in as a salvage residence, which means nobody lives there. Well, somebody does live there. And so we moved it from a salvage residence to a non-salvage residence, which then gives them the residential exemption. So that's the first one. its value went up slightly, but it does lower the taxes for that individual. Any questions on that one? Okay. On hearing 2025-886, this one should have been in Greenbelt, but it was not put in Greenbelt. So value remained the same, but we put it in Greenbelt. The Greenbelt was signed in 11 of 2023, and it never got put in the system. So,
Any questions on that one?
No.
Okay.
then hearing 887, this one we had the quality of construction off, and we also had a portion of the lot that should have been classified as a minimum value because of its topography. And so we reduced that one down.
Okay.
And then hearing 888, this one had some minimal value according to on the land. But we recommended, let's table that one because I don't have my good notes here. So I'll bring that one back to you next month.
Which one's that, the 888?
The 888.
Okay.
And the 890, this was it's a baggage piece of land out in East Carbon. The homeowner owns the land in front of it. It was put on as 802, but it's on a steep slope and has a big ravine that runs down the middle. So we split it between acreage and minimal value and reduced the value there.
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, thanks.
And on 895, this one, we put the home on the wrong lot, and she's been gracious enough to pay for the house that she doesn't live in or doesn't own for a few years. And we thought it was only right to put the house on the right lot and take it away from hers. So we did that and fixed it.
Right. Any questions on that group?
No.
So it looks like we have
5.
883, 886, 887, 890, and 895 to potentially approve, and we'll table 888.
I'll make a motion that we approve the late appeals due to factual error on 883, 886, 887, 890, 895. And I thank you for finding these and correcting them.
And
Add the table on
And
888.
tabling 888.
Yeah, apologize. I don't.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'd like to approve the values of those that were just approved to be heard. So I've already worked them, and with a factual error, you can only correct it for the error that was found by the factual error. So I've corrected those factual errors, and the current values are on the tiny sheet.
Yeah, I can see them there. Should we read those?
So hearing 883, the new value would be, $89,311. Hearing 886, the new value would be $248,712. And it would be put into Greenbelt status. And I didn't print out the Greenbelt numbers, but they're significantly lower. And I'll get those to the auditor. On hearing 887, the value is reduced to $929,071. And hearing 890, the value is reduced to $20,997. And on 895, the value is reduced to $95,050.
Okay. Do we have a motion already? We didn't.
We need a motion to adjust. Whoa.
To adjust to the recommended values.
I'll make a motion to adjust to the recommended values of late appeal recommends 883, 880, get this other sheet, it's easy to read, 886, 887, 890, 895.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, the next one's a little strange. This one is hearing 893. They filed a late appeal for factual error. The factual error was their value. So the value isn't a factual error. Factual errors are something that's in the property record that is noted as an error on the property record so that it can be fixed. The value isn't a part of the property record. So with this one, I leave it into your hands. I can go digging and find factual errors. Happy to do that. This is a building that was purchased from the county. It's the old animal shelter. And it looks like it is overvalued. And in looking at the parcel, just briefly, we have errors on it. So, but he doesn't designate what errors were there. So I can't agree that there's a factual error because I don't know what error he's pointing to.
So it might be wise just to take a second look at that one.
Yeah.
I would appreciate you guys opening back up so I can look at it.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we table also 893.
Not table, but approve it so that I can adjust the appeal.
Right, okay. I make a motion that we approve 893 so that you can make the adjustment on the appeal.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, in the last section, we're there. These are 3 properties that they're appealing their tax exempt status. So they were denied their tax exempt status. These are all low income housing properties. And they were denied for one reason or another earlier by you guys. So this is just, they're appealing that. And the first step is to appeal it to you guys. So I bring it to you and say they want to appeal their exempt status. And these are for, do you want me to read names or hearing numbers?
Let's have the names.
Okay. The first is Woodside Price, LLC. The second is Western Regional Nonprofit Portree Prop, LLC. And the third is the same as the second.
Any discussion about those 3?
I hope it's okay. I would actually like Seth to talk just a little bit about tax exempt properties and what qualifies, just so that everybody understands why we make some of these decisions.
Yeah, I mean, there's in state code, there's some pretty good guidelines on some types of parcels or properties, and others not so great as far as the guidelines. And in those situations, it's really left up to the commission whether or not tax exemption is granted. And maybe some examples are the best way to look at these, but obviously if it's a nonprofit like a church or charity, anything that has an obvious benefit to residents of the area, we generally, there's no problem in approving those as tax exempt. So those are some kind of loose guidelines. They're nonprofit. They filed as a nonprofit 501c3. They have their articles of incorporation and that type of thing. Where it gets a little vague is deciding if there's an obvious benefit to residents of the county, and that's kind of where you guys have the opportunity to look at them. So it gets a little difficult with housing developments. Sometimes they claim that they're a low income, and then maybe we look at their financials or what they're charging compared to the market rate, and they're the same or higher than the market rate. So then it gets a little confusing. And so anyways, hopefully that helps a little bit, but it really, when it comes to more vague parts of the code, it's really up to you to determine if there's an obvious benefit to the residents of the county and whether or not that qualifies them for tax exempt status. So hopefully that was helpful.
Thank you.
So just because they're called a nonprofit doesn't mean that they're tax exempt.
That's correct.
So Commissioners, I'd like to add to that these particular ones, nationwide, we have a database that we can access, and we know that they receive low-income tax credits, so that is also something to consider.
Yeah, and when it's a low-income property, we give them the, ability to turn in their financials so we can see all of their rents and all of their expenses. And we do value them according to the rents, whereas everyone else that's not classified as a low income doesn't have that same opportunity. So they're given a tax break that way. So it's not really a market value per se that we put on these properties. It's a reduced value because of the type of property that they are. And sorry, there's a law that covers that. I don't know which one it is, but I could look it up for you.
Thank you. I think that clarifies. And just so they know, tax credits, they help build the buildings, so they don't have to pay the full values that other private industry does. And so that's why when we look at the rents, if they're collecting the same or even above market rates, we have a problem.
Any other questions or discussion?
Nope.
I'll entertain a motion to grant or deny the tax exemption for these 3 properties.
I'll make a motion that we deny these 3 properties, 007, 632, 633.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, one more item, and I apologize. This one was just brought to me a couple hours ago. We have 2 parcels that were purchased. And Seth, you know the company name. I didn't write it down.
It's by the Association of Governments, those parcels that we helped them purchase.
So they purchased them in August, and they're looking. They have a partial. The portion of the taxes were paid, or maybe not paid, but
Yeah,
I'm stepping all over this one.
You're good. I can fill in just a
Thank
little
you.
bit. The Association of Governments purchased them in August, and they called and asked about a tax exempt status on these to not have to pay taxes this year. And there was some discussion about how it was figured into their closing documents with the title company. Generally, the title company will give them either a credit or make sure that they're paid in the closing, depending on the time of year that the closing happens. We called the title company, and they confirmed that there had been a $211 credit to the Association of Governments on each parcel to pay the taxes from January until August when it was purchased. So then the request by the association was to make them tax exempt or to credit them for their taxes from August till December, because it was owned by the Association of Governments and they're tax exempt. So hopefully that made sense.
So basically, looking for guidance. What would you like us to do?
Did the ALG pay the closing or the taxes at closing?
They haven't paid them yet. How the closing documents were written, they were credited $211 for each parcel for their taxes that hadn't been paid. So if approved, we would have to make an adjustment to their taxes so that they only owe $211 on each parcel, and then they would have to pay it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
And then moving forward, those 2 parcels would be exempt for 26, 27.
Yes.
And they would only stay exempt until they
Until the
have
home's
somebody that builds a home on there, and then the homeowner would pick the tax up.
That's correct.
Any questions or discussion?
Do you need the parcel numbers, or
That's
did
what
I
I
read
was
them in
gonna-
there?
Yeah.
It's 011650-0001 and 011650-0002.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion then that this would be a tax exemption
It
or
would
just
be
to
a
reduce the
tax
tax of 20
adjustment.
tax adjustment for 25.
Correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we do a tax adjustment for parcel number 01-1650-0001 and 01-1650-0002.
I'll second that.
All in
And the
favor?
amount would be 211 for each of them.
211
And the amount of
each.
211 for each parcel. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Kevin.
That's all I got.
Item 8 is adjourn as the Carbon County Board of Equalization and convene as the Carbon County Board of Commissioners.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn as Carbon County Board of Equalization and convene as Carbon County Board of Commissioners.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 9 is consideration and possible approval of resolution 2025-06, appointment of board applicants to the Carbon County boards for 2026. So this item, we have multiple boards in our county where local folks are invited to apply and be appointed to serve on these different boards. And so each of the board positions have a term associated with those, some 2 years, some 3, some 4. And so notice was put in the paper some time ago advertising this. Yesterday was the deadline for receiving those applications. And so we'll go through those one at a time. The first board that has some vacancies appearing is the Friends of Carbon Emery County's Children's Justice Centers and Family Support Center. Currently, there are advertised 5 vacancies, but since the advertisement, there's been 2 additional vacancies that have occurred. So there are 7 total. We've received 4 applications for those 7 vacancies. The following: Laura Milchak, Alicia Sandoval, and Rose Barnes are currently serving, and their terms end at the end of the year, and they would like to continue serving. And we have 1 new applicant, Michael Corianis, that would like to serve on that board. Any discussion?
I would make a motion that we accept the 4 applications and put them on the Children's Justice Center Board.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. So that leaves 3 empty seats there. We can continue to take applications for those 3 seats. If anybody would like to help out there. The next board is the Schofield Reservoir Special Service District. This is a special service district formed when the sewer systems around Schofield Reservoir were collected into several different generalized areas for each of the camps around the lake. And this district takes care of the loan payments and collecting the fees from all those who have sewer that dumps into that system. And that district is broken up into different campsites around the lake. And the one that is the term is up is for the Singleton subdivision. And Casey Williams currently is serving on that board and has expressed interest in continuing to serve. He's the only applicant there. Any questions or discussion?
I don't. I make a motion that we acknowledge and approve Casey Williams for the Schofield Reservoir Special Service District.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. The next one is the Carbon County Tourism Tax Advisory Board. Currently, there are 4 two-year term vacancies that are up, and there's also 1 vacancy that has come up because someone has changed jobs and is no longer qualified to serve on that board. So this board has to be made up of more than half the board has to come from the restaurant and the hotel industry. So we currently have 4 that are serving currently and would like to continue. Barbie Heck, Scotty Draper, Tim Riley, and Lenise Peterman. Maybe I could go back and tell you each of the. So Barbie Heck comes from the Chamber of Commerce. Scotty Draper comes from AJB Broadcasting and Buskin Productions. Tim Riley comes from the USUE Museum. Lenise Peterman from the Helper Museum. So both of the museum and the chamber are associated with the tourism activity, and so those qualify. And then we have 4 applicants who have filed to serve on that board: Tiffany Hansen, Mike Corianis, Joshua Patterson, and Jessica
Isidore.
Lasordo. Yeah, Lasordo. I didn't write her name down, last name. And Jessica's works at Sure Stay. Joshua Patterson is at the 9 Mile RV Resort. Tiffany Hansen is with Utah State Parks. And Mike Corianis does not represent any of those. So we have 5 let me back up. The 2 vacancies, it's not 1, it's 2 vacancies, where 2 individuals have stepped away from the board. And the terms of those 2 individuals would have expired in 1 year. And so those 2 appointments would only serve for 1 year to finish out the terms of those individuals. So we've got 8 applicants, and we need 4 vacancies filled for 2-year terms, and 2 for a 1-year term to finish a vacancy that's been created. Any questions or?
I left my list back,
Okay.
so Jared to make this one.
Right.
Do we need to mention their names, or just that we accept the vacancies of those that you mentioned?
I think let's just appoint 4 for 2-year terms, and then we'll jump to the next and appoint 2 to fill the vacancies.
Yeah, so I make a motion that the 4 vacancies for the 2-year term are approved, which will be Lenise Peterman. Have to get all the names down. Timothy Riley, Scotty Crank, and Barbie Heck.
Any more discussion on those 2-year terms?
Yep.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, the consideration of the 2 1-year terms. We have 4 to choose from: Tiffany Hansen from Utah State Parks, Mike Corianis, Joshua Patterson from 9 Mile RV Resort, and Jessica Sardo from Sure Stay.
I think there's just the one vacancy, isn't there?
There's two.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a second one that just,
Oh, okay. Oh, they just
Popped
came
up,
in. Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, I just read my notes here. Remember, we've adjusted that.
yeah. Yeah, that were the two that.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve Tiffany Hansen and Joshua Patterson for the 1-year terms.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The next board is the Housing Authority of Carbon County. This board is made up of folks that assist with the Carbon County Housing Authority. They have their offices are behind Walmart, and those folks take care of a lot of the Section 8 people for rental or for apartments. And there's a board that's in charge of that. We have 2 vacancies, but we only have 1 applicant, and that was Mike Corianis.
Make a motion that we approve Mike Corianis to fill one of the vacancies for the Housing Authority.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The next one is the Planning Commission. So this is the planning and zoning board members. There are 3 vacancies that will come up at the end of the year for 4-year terms, and 1 that needs to be assigned as an alternate to this board. So the alternate is a insurance policy that when they have their meetings, we end up with a quorum so that they can vote. So we have those that come in to receive approvals for conditional use permits or subdivisions and things that we have an obligation to those individuals who have filed an application to give them an answer the night they come in. And if we don't have a quorum, we can't give them an answer. So it's nice to have some alternates there that step in place when we're short someone who's not able to be there that's a regular member. So we have 3 that are currently serving that have agreed to stay. Gary Taylor, Jeff Peters, and Trapper Burdick. And we have 3 applicants that would like to serve on that board. Warren Stainbrook, who currently serves as an alternate on that board. Mackenzie Burnett from East Carbon, and Mike Corianis. And I guess there's 4, and Jade Powell. So we need to choose 3 of those to serve as regular board members and add 1 as an alternate.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we move Orrin Stainbrook from alternate to full-time or a regular planning commission board member. Gary Taylor, Mackenzie Barnett, and Jade Powell as an alternate.
So that
I'll
would,
second that.
okay, so that'd put Gary Taylor in, Warren Stainbrook, and Mackenzie Burnett as regular members, and Jade Powell as an alternate. That's the motion, and it's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The last one is the Southeastern Utah Board of Health. So the county has a responsibility for the health of the county as well as the mental health. So there are 2 agencies that assist us. You have Four Corners that takes care of the mental health effort for us, and then the Southeastern Board of Health. And there are 3 members that are assigned from each of the counties associated with this group. And for our county, one of the commissioners has to be appointed to that board, and that's myself. And then we have Zach Kanakis and Debbie Pete, who currently serve and both would like to continue. And then we have Mike Corianis as a third possibility.
I'd like to make a motion just because I like saying this, since he's earned this. I would like to say that Dr. Zach Kanakis and Debbie Pete be placed on the Southeastern Utah Board of Health.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned. Thank you for coming tonight.